quite a few people who have been asking me how I cut my hair at home, so I figured I'd make this short video to show you how I cut it. So just a disclaimer, I'm not a hairstylist. Like, I literally started doing this years ago because hairstylists kept basically fucking up my hair and cutting way too much off, especially since I was trying to grow it out long. And this didn't happen during 2020. I've literally been doing my own haircuts since like 2016, 2017, on and off. I just find it easy. I've kind of learned from YouTube tutorials and also basically just not being afraid to completely fuck up my hair on my own. It's really easy. It's like super easy. I can do it. Anyone can do it. Like, I have no skills, never been a cosmetologist, never done hair before. So I buy these scissors from Amazon. These are professional scissors to cut hair. You need these if you're going to cut your own hair, if you're going to cut your husband's hair, your boyfriend's hair, anybody. Please buy some good scissors, because the kitchen shears, honey, those are just not meant for your hair. Those are going to cause more split ends and more damage than even you probably had before. So these were about $10, $15, totally worth it. I've had them now for like 2 years. They're just fine. So what I do essentially is I cut my hair wet. I cut my hair yesterday. It was in a ponytail day, but you can kind of see the layers. It's basically in long layers, and I'll put a picture here. Basically, when I style it, it looks really nice. It looks layered, put it into my face. I could wear it in a middle part or a side part, and it just looks good. My hair does need to be washed, and I'll show you what it looks like totally styled, and I will cut a little bit off today just to show you how I do it. So you're going to need a brush. You're going to need some hair ties to basically section off your hair. And yeah, let's get started. So typically you want to do this with your hair's wet, but you can do it dry. If you do your hair dry, it's gonna essentially be more accurate as far as the length. If you do it wet, your hair is going to shrink after, it'll be a little bit shorter. So I'm going to turn my head over. Tons of tutorials where it tells you to put your hair in a ponytail here. That is wrong. You're going to have like the shortest, most uneven, choppy layers. It's going to look like 2002. Don't do that shit. What you want to do, I'm brushing all my hair forward. Essentially what you're going to do is create a really high ponytail kind of in the center of the top of your head. I'm going to perfect this and then I'll be right back. Also, if you're doing this on someone else, you can totally basically not tie your hair. So essentially what I'm doing is by pulling your hair up all the way, you're creating your shortest layer. If you're pulling it out on an angle, those layers are going to be longer. You can go all the way around your head at that angle and cut. If you're doing it on someone else, that's essentially how you create layers in general. That's exactly what hairstylists do. They section your hair usually into 4s and 8s. So if that makes sense, you're basically cutting down your head this way and that way. And you can pull out if you want your layers longer. You can even do them super long just so it's like a nice blend right out here. It's a lot of information. If you just want to cut your hair real quickly into some layers, you could just do what I'm doing. But yeah, this is what I do when I just need to do a quick trim or I have some split ends, and literally it comes out fine, like gorgeous, and people compliment my hair all the time. And when I tell them I cut it myself and I dye it myself, everybody's like, how do you do it? What do you do? And when I explain it by mouth, people are always like, I don't get it. Please show me how. So that's what this video is for. So I'm tying these hair ties to basically see where I'm going to cut from. So you can kind of tell how I cut my hair last time. But yeah, essentially you can pull this down and that's going to be really even. So I feel so stupid showing this on camera because it's a little embarrassing how I cut my hair, I'm not going to lie. Cut it here, and then I will point cut it like this with the scissors, just so it's not so blunt, even though it's not going to be blunt because these are all going to fall differently once you let your hair down. All right, so let's let it down, and then I'll show you what I do to kind of make sure everything's well blended. Put my hair in the middle part just to see where everything's at. And I'm going to divide it straight in half. As you can see, my hair does need to be washed. And yeah, you can see that it's extremely even. It came out pretty much perfect. You can just do this with each one of the layers. And for me, this creates like the perfect layers. I don't like my layers to start super short. My shortest one is, as you can see, right about here. And it kind of just blends down. If you want to do further blending, you can just look throughout your hair and see where it needs to be blended or if it looks too choppy. But actually it came out quite good, so I don't need to blend it. I had already blended it before. It's very, make sure I'm getting it on camera, pretty even. So what I'm gonna do now is I'll just go in the mirror and kind of go out at an angle, see where my layers end, and just make sure everything's nice and well blended. And like right here, I'll just go out at an angle. You can see here that they're a little bit choppy, and I'll just kind of cut so it makes sense. That is it. That is how I cut my own layers at home. I know it's probably not accurate, not the right way to do it, but for me, it saves me a lot of time. It always comes out really nice and evenly layered. I don't have to go to a hairstylist. I don't have to make an appointment. It doesn't take me time. I can teach you guys how I even dye my own hair soon. But yeah, it's super easy, super fast. It takes me like 5 to 10 minutes. I do this like literally once every 6 months. I don't even do it that often. People who've seen pictures of me from recently know that my hair was much longer. It was like down to here. So that is how I cut it like this. And then I cut it also in 2020 when I went from this to this myself. Most of the dye jobs as well that you see, I do them myself. Basically all of the things I know how to do as far as hair is concerned is self-taught. I also do cut my mom's hair occasionally, and I've cut my little brother's hair. That's pretty much it. It's super easy. Basically, my advice if you want to do your own haircuts or learn how to cut your own hair is watch YouTube videos. Seriously, YouTube videos are very helpful just to kind of get the basic understanding of the methods of how to layer hair, how to blend, how to do this, how to do that. There's a lot of different YouTube tutorials. I would recommend Brad Mondo. He has a couple videos at how to cut your hair at home. I watched that and that was helpful. And in general, that whole high ponytail method, I came up with it by myself because I saw a lot of people were doing the kind of unicorn one in the front of their head and they were getting too short layers. And in my head, I was like, okay, if we move this shit back to like a normal space in the middle of the head, it's not going to be super short layers, obviously, in the front. They'll come out kind of perfectly even and they should blend better together. And sure enough, they did. So it works for me. Hope you guys found this helpful. I will talk to you soon. Bye.